Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. Well, legal sports betting went into effect this week in Indiana. Indiana Grand Casino became the first Caesars entertainment property in Indiana to open a sports book, which will make the casino in Shelbyville the second largest Caesars sports book behind Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. Casinos in East Chicago, Michigan City, Hammond, Indianapolis, French Lick, among others, also have the green light to open sports books. And joining me now with more on Indiana's foray into sports betting and what it could mean, pleased to be joined by Matt Bell. Matt's the president and CEO of the Casino Association of Indianapolis. Matt, as always, welcome to the program.
Thanks so much for having me, sir.
Big news this week, and certainly something that a lot of people were anticipating. What was the reaction in week one to legalize sports betting in Indiana?
The reaction's been characterized by tremendous excitement by the Hoosier consumer. I think clearly it's been demonstrated that there's a pent-up market of folks who want to find a way to wager legally on the games and the sports and the events that they love. We've seen wonderful crowds at grand openings from Shelbyville to Indianapolis, in Northwest Indiana, at Boyd Gaming today, at Penn, and in East Chicago as well. It's an exciting time for the Hoosier bettor and a great opportunity to allow folks a legal and transparent and regulated way to wager on the sports that they love.
Yeah, we saw it officially kick off last weekend, Governor Holcomb placing those initial bets in Shelbyville. As you look at the locations, because essentially you have to go to a licensed casino, correct, to make those bets. Talk about how this rollout is going to happen. Not every casino is offering it right now, but that ultimately, at least for the most part, will happen.
It will happen. We believe it'll be present at every Indiana casino and racino and off-track betting parlor across the state. Our properties are doing an amazing job of working aggressively to make investments that generate world-class facilities for the Hoosier consumer to come and enjoy sports wagering amenities on par with things that you'd find in Las Vegas or anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And what has prevented folks from moving faster is simply the task of constructing those facilities, making sure all the licensure and regulation process is in place. But it's been a tremendous effort on both the part of the state and our operators to be up and running in advance of the NFL football season.
Indiana, to the surprise of some, was pretty aggressive in making this happen. What, in your view, Matt, is the potential from an economic standpoint of sports betting in Indiana, including the potential of getting bettors from neighboring states which don't, at least not yet, have legalized sports betting?
So I think the potential is significant, and I think we'll see additional revenue of more than $50 million a year once sports wagering is fully implemented, which will include mobile wagering offerings in Indiana that are coming sooner rather than later. What I think sports wagering offers is a new amenity, a new reason for folks to experience the world-class properties that we have in Indiana, a new opportunity for them to enjoy the teams and games that they love so very much. And we think that'll drive interest in those teams, in those games. The benefit will be felt by folks like our Indianapolis Colts, our Indianapolis Pacers, even our colleges and universities, because we believe the market will drive increased viewership, and there's a lot of data that supports that.
Where could this lead? You mentioned mobile betting. That is going to happen, as you said, sooner rather than later. It's not there yet. But what about in-game gambling and sports betting, those types of things? Are those possibilities? People talk about the 500 betting on who's leading a particular lap. Is that feasible, reasonable to think could happen?
So Indiana legislators took a hard look at that and decided that, in fact, they wanted to give our Indiana Gaming Commission the ability to authorize in-game wagers. Now, those can take a lot of different forms. Probably the most popular would be adjusting the point spread at halftime of a game, be that a basketball game or a football game, which is a way to keep folks who may have placed a bet early, and that bet may no longer be feasible, to stay engaged in that game and in that action. Absolutely, the door is open to things like wagering on intermittent action during the Indianapolis 500. The key becomes having reliable data, and we've given that responsibility to the Indiana Gaming Commission to determine what sources our sportsbook operators can use to determine a bet. And they're ready and willing to take that responsibility.
Very quickly, we only have about 15 seconds, but other states, neighboring states, are going to ultimately be in. Indiana have an advantage kind of being one of the first out there in the marketplace?
Once again, Indiana leads in the Midwest, and that's a credit to our Indiana operators. It's also a credit to our Indiana regulators. They put forth a world-class set of regulations, pushed our operators chose to invest aggressively and be licensed aggressively, and they rose to that challenge. It's a win for Indiana.
Will be interesting to watch this all develop. Matt Bell, the president and CEO of the Casino Association of Indiana. Thanks, Matt, as always. We'll talk to you soon.
It's great to be with you, sir. Thank you.